It is 31 days after her election and counting, and still Adelita Grijalva has not been sworn in, despite a new lawsuit filed this week to put pressure on Mike Johnson. The Speaker and the Congresswoman now at odds over what she can and can't do in the meantime.
Rep-elect Grijalva can work for her constituents right now. Constituent services answering the phone. She has computers and 16 employees, and there's no excuse for it.
So in the office, we have several desktops. They have an administrator passcode. I don't have that. Check out this cool stack of laptops. Guess what? I can't unlock them.
Congresswoman-elect Adelita Grijalva joins me now. So, Congresswoman, let's start with, what are you and staff? Do you have staff doing in that office?
Well, literally, I'm in district now, and we're at our headquarters, what used to be our headquarters, now in one room, because we don't have the ability to open up a lease, because we don't have a budget. I don't have the authority of the federal government to use federal dollars. And so when Speaker Johnson has the audacity to say that I should be doing my job, it's like, well, why don't you do your job, swear me in, and we won't have to do this back and forth. Because part of the issue is, there aren't very many people. I think starting in 2 days, I will have exceeded the person that has waited the longest to be sworn in a special. 35 days is the run, but I have exceeded when the Speaker obstructs your swearing in, because that's what Speaker Johnson is doing right now. He is, by him not swearing me in, it does not allow me to be a member of Congress. I don't have a PIN. I have to stand in line to security just like everybody else. I do not have the ability to enter into any sort of contracts. And so if Speaker Johnson says, you know, I have all the tools, I have to do my job, well, then let me sign the discharge petition. Can I do that? No, because there's certain things you can and cannot do as a member-elect versus a member of Congress.
So, again, we heard this from Speaker Johnson, but he says Representative-elect Grijalva can work for her constituents right now, constituent services, answering the phones. I mean, would they know where to reach you if they wanted to? But I imagine when you are out and about, what are they telling you?
Well, the problem is I don't have constituents until I'm sworn in. I have won an election. I have the support of many Arizonans to get to work. I don't have a constituency until I'm in office. I'm not in office, one. Two, people just keep telling me to fight to get the representation that Arizona deserves. We don't deserve to have someone who has their hands tied behind their backs and not being able to do the full gamut of benefits and responsibilities that are charged to a member of Congress. So when I'm out and about, what I really do here, which I think is really, really sad. My dad had a reputation of having amazing constituent services in this office for 22 years as a member of Congress. And people in this community know what it's like to have a Grijalva to answer questions to have their back, to do research for them, to help them. My dad's office was closed on September 23rd. He had 2 different offices in district. Those are not mine by osmosis. I have to actually enter into a lease. This is not something that is handed down to me. And so Speaker Johnson, I think, has just forgotten what it was like to open up a congressional office. And perhaps he never had to worry about this because he was probably sworn in fully and didn't have to worry about what he can and can't do.
And knew exactly what day that was going to happen. So let me ask you about the lawsuit you filed, along with the Arizona Attorney General, Kris Mayes, this week, demanding that the Speaker or another government official swear you into Congress. What's your legal argument?
You know, basically, it's taxation without representation. There are 812,000 Arizonans that do not have a voice in Congress. There are logistical things that only a member of Congress can do. Right now, anyone in district that has any questions or concerns reaches out to our amazing senators from Arizona, Gallego and Kelly. But that should not be their responsibility. It's my responsibility.
So while you're waiting to officially have constituents, and I know, having been around your late father and the work that he did for such a long time, you understand the need for that. Is there anything you can and are doing and preparing to do for when you actually do get sworn in?
Well, we do have staff that are ready to get to work. We do have, people that I need to hire for different positions. In this limbo, I can't onboard people because of the shutdown, but I wouldn't be able to hire anyone because I'm not a member of Congress yet. So I do think, I cannot provide constituent services because am I a federal employee officially? Do we have all of the, waiver consent forms that are needed if I'm going to collect information? Right now, anyone that's going to work for our office when we open up an office is just a person. What are they supposed to do? Send communications to all of the departments in our federal government from their Gmail accounts? So, I'm not going to put them in a position where they might be held liable for taking information from constituents because we really are not legally able to do that right now. And to get clarification on whether I can legally do anything, I can't reach out to counsel in the House until I'm a member of Congress.
So I just want to clarify something. The people who are staff, presumably people who worked for your dad, are they getting paid?
Well, so there are some people that are going to stay on that were in my dad's office, and then other people that are new to my office. And so when we reopened the office, they were onboarded because House administration asked for a list of who are we going to hire? So we provided a list, I believe, of 14, and then there were a couple other people that are assigned to more than one office. So they're not like my staff, they're staff like financial people, that kind of stuff. And so we provided that in good faith. And I think everyone thought, well, the 3 previous people that have been sworn in by Speaker Johnson were sworn in less than 24 hours, 2 during pro forma session, 1 during a regular session of Congress. And so the fact that, so we provided that, and they presumably are in a system. That's all I know. I don't know if they're on a list of people that are going to have back pay. I don't know what that process is because I'm not sworn in yet. I'm not really sure.
Congresswoman-elect Adelita Grijalva, stay in touch and thank you.